The Champions League is back, and it's back with a banger. So many good games, struck, but he still got a set of fixtures tonight on Thursday for some random reason. I think they do this now for so many games, but whatever. Chelsea played yesterday, Liverpool played yesterday. Contrasting fortunes. Kind of a same old story for Liverpool, whereas for Chelsea, it was a bit of a humbling experience at Bayern Munich. So we'll start off with Liverpool. And what can we say, Rohit? But yet another late show. This time from the captain Virgil van Dijk. I think a 92nd minute header to beat Atletico Madrid. I'll just take you through the game first. We started off like a house on fire, two goals in the first 6 minutes. Andrew Robertson deflecting Mohamed Salah's free kick. That free kick was terrible, by the way. And then Mohamed Salah being Mohamed Salah and scoring an absolutely worldly. We dominated Atletico Madrid, but then out of nowhere, they scored a goal. I think that should have been chalked off for offside because Antoine Griezmann was blocking Alisson's view. And then we had so many more chances. Mohamed Salah hit the post. There were a couple of other good chances. And then the sucker punch came in from Marcus Llorente again, second time. A deflected volley going into the back of the net. And you had this feeling that, that's it. This is finally going to end Liverpool's streak of late winners because the players seemed a little tired. They seemed like it was done. And Atletico Madrid is not easy to break down. But lo and behold, constant pressure at the end. And Van Dijk scored a bullet header. He celebrated widely. We win another game. That's 5 games with late winners coming in. I think the latest or the earliest late winner has been 82 minutes with Szoboszlai's free kick. So a lot to unpack. Rohit, what are your thoughts? The late show
I
again?
think, yeah, the late winners for me, that's an indication of like the mental resilience of a team, right? Not giving up, being able to come back and get the winner at the end, reminiscent of Manchester United under Alex Ferguson. And, what they were famous for was their mentality, right? And you can clearly see it through the squad, right? Talking about mentality, the highest rated players on SofaScore here are surprises Virgil van Dijk and Mohamed Salah, like two stalwarts of the game, two ex-Champions League winners. And when you have that kind of talent, mentality, experience in team, there's only one expected outcome, right? Which is what happened, right? A couple of things that I'm looking at, Adim, wanted to ask you because I didn't watch the game. I saw Robertson started over Milos Kerkez, and I know Kerkez got taken off over the weekend, and Slot basically maybe was a little mad with him. Anything there?
So Slot did say that he couldn't trust Kirkis in the previous game because he thought he'd get a yellow card, the second yellow, and then he'd be sent off. I think this is a bit of a learning curve for Kirkis. I think he's a little bit exuberant, a little over enthusiastic after joining Liverpool. We've seen him put in some rash tackles, dive to try and win a penalty. So maybe this is just, taking him out of the firing line, keeping Robertson in so that there's a senior figure at the back. And obviously, we've got so many new players coming in, right? So I think what Slot is also doing is ensuring that people are getting minutes. I think he might not be playing in the Merseyside derby also. So just gonna give him time to settle in, understand how to play, and then obviously he's going to be a future left back. Andy Robertson himself has said it that I see Kyrgyz as the future left back, and I'm going to play now for like whenever Slot wants me. So nothing too big from that. I think that's perfectly fine.
Got it. Got it. The other thing, of course, I think was this Isak's first start for you guys. How did he fare in the match?
So Isak was a bit of a weird one because I did not think he would start because Slot kept on saying that he needs to train, he isn't up to speed, and you saw that in the gameplay because I think he was subbed off in 45 minutes or a little after 45 minutes. But there were a couple of touches of brilliance. He set up Salah quite well once. He looks very quick with the ball at his feet. Not much to take out from this because he was really well marked, but there are glimpses that he's going to be good. So the other thing, obviously, I wanted to talk about is Florian Wirtz. Like, there's been a lot of talk about him not performing, but he looked really good yesterday, especially in the second half. So, the thing is, Liverpool keep winning. They find ways to win, even though they've been playing like terribly for almost, I don't know, 90% of the game. So, I think it's a little scary for the opposition also that once we click, what is going to happen?
You say it terribly, but the statistics show that you had like 2.7 expected goal versus zero point 0.6 for Atletico, right? So I think the statistics seems to suggest you're still doing okay. Maybe you're letting in
Oh no.
some
So
chances and things like
yeah,
that. Yeah.
just a correction. Yesterday, our performance I think was the best we've had this season. We
Okay.
completely
Got it.
dominated Atletico. I was just talking in general because the Premier League
Oh yeah, of
performances have not
course,
been
of
good.
course. Agreed, agreed, agreed. That makes sense. And then the final thing that I wanted to talk about is I see Rio and Gumoha got his Champions League debut at 16. That's crazy, right? And he got to play. He came on in around the 75th minute, so a decent amount of time he got to play, right?
Yeah, and he looked good. So you think that he's doing well against English defenses. Maybe he won't do so well against continental teams, but he did really well. He looks like he's a part of the side. He knows what his role is. He knows how to play, what to do, what not to do. I just wanted to close off this segment of Liverpool Atletico with a couple of facts. One is that Marcus Llorente has scored 7 goals in the Champions League in his career. 4 of those have come at Anfield. So
Wow.
yeah, he was the one who knocked us out, I think, in 2020 or 2021 at
Mhm.
Trian's Howlers. And the other thing is Diego Simeone went all Lucho crazy and got himself sent off. He started fighting with a fan or something. Not fighting, but he was really angry with the fan who was constantly, I don't know, I think he was goading the Atletico players. So this happened right at the end after we scored our winner. And he was sent off. So I mean, like that's Diego Simeone in a nutshell, right? I mean, he's so passionate and all. So I found it
Why does
hilarious.
he? Giovanni Simeone is his son, right? He was in
Yeah,
the
yeah,
starting
yeah,
lineup.
yeah,
Yeah, he
yeah,
should be mad at his son because the son got the lowest rating from the
yeah.
Atletico team
Nepotism.
instead
How,
of
how
being
can
mad
he
at
say
the
anything to
fan.
his son? It's nepotism.
Oh my goodness, that's funny. Yeah. I think the Rio and Gumoha aspect I think really excites me, right? Somebody so young doing so well, and of course it saddens me as well. Chelsea losing out on him. I think that's probably a good segue to get into the Chelsea game, Adin,
Yeah,
because Rio Ngumoha is a right-footed left winger, right? And we spent over 100 million this summer on two right-footed left wingers, Gittins and Garnacho, while losing somebody like Ngumoha basically for nothing, right? And neither of them started because
yeah.
Maresca doesn't trust them, right? Pedro Neto started on the left, had a pretty bad game. He was one of the lowest in terms of the player ratings in the match. And overall, of course, Chelsea got humbled 3-1 at the Allianz Stadium, which is not, unexpected, right? If you look at the overall team and the overall lack of experience of Chelsea at this stage, that makes sense, right? Because our starting centre back pairing was Trevor Chalobah and Tosin Adarabioyo, right? They are good players, but they're not like players who win you a away Champions League match against Bayern Munich, right? Let's just leave it at that, right? The first goal was an own goal from Trev Chalobah. Of course, the second goal was a penalty that we gave away. Caicedo gave away a pretty bad penalty against Harry Kane, who put it away. For a brief period, we had flicker of hope. Cole Palmer with an amazing finish.
Yeah.
He's the only outstanding player who looked like he belonged at that stage, right? And just when, we thought, okay, we might get back into it in the second half, we again gave the ball away carelessly and they scored to make it 3-0. So basically, moments of lapses of concentration, an own goal, a penalty, and a bad giveaway. And a team with the likes of Harry Kane, Michael Olise, Joshua Kimmich, they're not going to, not punish you, right? So that's basically my takeaway here, right? We've had a lot of churn in the squad, right? I really would have liked like Madueke's and Nicholas Jackson's to be on our side. Nicholas Jackson came on for Bayern Munich at
I
the
was gonna
end.
ask you about that.
Yeah. Right. Didn't really, make any difference, but I think he would have made quite a bit of a difference if he had been on our side, right? Because we clearly lacked somebody, right? Garnacho came on at the end, but he's obviously not match fit. So I think this game comes at the wrong time for us, right? Our central defense doesn't look that good. We're still waiting on Fofana to regain his fitness, if he ever will. Hopefully he does. But Shield to come back. Colvin is out for the season. So quite a few headaches for Maresca, especially going into this weekend. We have a big game against Manchester United, right? Whatever you say about them, they tend to do well against
Yeah.
Chelsea, right? They do well. They are a counter-attacking team, and Chelsea, having had a tough game the weekend against Brentford, tough game midweek against Bayern Munich. And there hasn't been that much rotation, right? Most of the same players will again start because clearly Maresca doesn't trust certain players, right? So we'll see what happens in the weekend. My biggest takeaway here is don't try to refresh the squad every season just for profit, right? What's the point? Like you got 60 or 55 odd million for Madueke, you spend more than that on Gittins, who's clearly not ready, who's going to take a couple more years. That's not how you build winning team, or that's not how you build on a decent season last season, right? I think it kind of cuts you back to zero and it's the same cycle all over again. I don't know. What are your thoughts on that?
Yeah, so again, it's like the Americanization of a team. You see trades taking place consistently. You got like one player who's like the cornerstone of a team, like a LeBron James for the Lakers. Yeah. Or I don't know, Allen Iverson for the 76ers, and then you build around them. I think that's what Cole Palmer is for you guys, and then you guys are just trying to build around him because I can see and envision that maybe next year, if a good deal comes in for Enzo Fernandez, you might sell him simply because you want to balance the books and you'll get somebody younger for half the price who can maybe have half the output or something like that. So that's obviously not going to work out because for every team that I've seen who's done well, they've built it gradually. Like for Liverpool, at least I can say, you saw slowly the building blocks being set up. First, Sadio Mane came in. Firmino was there. Then Salah came, and then we didn't change those guys for almost 5 or 6 years, right? I mean, until
Yeah.
like we took the juice out of Sadio Mane and Firmino, we didn't sell them. So I don't know if you can keep changing people up and adding people and selling people, it's going to work.
Yeah. No, I love the fact that you use the building block analogy. It's like you're trying to build a house, but every year
You
the
just
house is
move,
half
yeah.
built, but you keep selling those bricks,
Like,
Somebody comes and offers you money, you're like, okay, yeah, sure, take this too, take this too. We'll get some new ones, right? So I don't think that's a good formula for success. And like you said, right, the American model. Maybe one of the reasons why it works is, all the players are within the same
mm,
kind of, league, within the same country, through the same system. But there's just such a huge difference between players from different countries, different leagues. It takes like a good year to year and a half to bed into a new team, a new system, a new country, right? It's not a very good system here. And then really, to be honest with you, having spent so much money to be stuck with Chalobah and Tosin as your starting centre backs in a Champions League is not good representation, or doesn't bode well for the construction of the team overall. So there are issues there. Let's see what happens in the weekend, and then we'll probably see how the season pans out after that.
yeah. So to round off the Champions League, I think we need to talk about a couple of other things. One is obviously the Dortmund Juventus game. I don't know if you saw it. I did. It was going like nil-nil. There was nothing to talk about in the first half, and then there were 8 goals in the second half. Uh, the most striking thing was the scorer of the fourth goal for Juventus. So they scored 2 goals in extra time just to get the draw at home. It's Lloyd Kelly. So Lloyd Kelly was this target that we wanted from Bournemouth, and he rejected us. I think he went to Newcastle. Newcastle loaned him to Juventus, and now look at him. He's scoring goals in Italy. So very interesting, and kind of a story of how football takes you like to random places. And then I think the big story also is Benfica landing Jose Mourinho again. So it's back to where he started. Funny thing was, I think Benfica lost to Karabakh in the Champions League 3-2. And what I've heard is that their manager was sacked in the tunnel after this. So interesting that Jose
Hey,
Mourinho is back. Yeah.
yeah, I think Chelsea's next match, or one of the matches, is against Benfica. So it's going to be
Oh,
Jose back
wow.
at the yeah,
So
back
that's going
against
to be
Chelsea.
interesting. Yeah. So, very interesting couple of side notes. The Champions League back, but obviously we've got bigger fish to fry also in the weekend. We've got Everton in the Merseyside derby, another early kickoff. Let's see how that goes. It's always
I'm actually excited about this game, right? Everton have been doing well. They've got
mm,
an interesting, setup right now. David Moyes, who's actually a good manager if you give him the right players.
yeah.
He's been, getting them to play good football. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, so a really good fixtures this time around. I think even Arsenal are playing a good match, right? I think they have like City.
Mm.
Uh,
Oh wow.
so
Okay.
yeah, yeah, it is Arsenal Man City. It's like a crazy packed Premier League weekend, so it's gonna be fun. Obviously, we'll have all of our reviews from those 2 games of Liverpool and Chelsea, and maybe some other big talking points. If you like our content, please like, share, and subscribe. Drop us questions if you agree with us or you disagree with us. That's totally fair. And until next time, bye bye.
Bye bye.